Take a slow, deep breath and allow the tension in your shoulders to melt away. Let the day's noise soften into silence and feel the quiet comfort of this moment. Settle gently around you, like a warm, woven shawl. There is nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. Just breathe. Just be. Allow your eyelids to grow heavier with each breath, with every exhale. Feel yourself drifting deeper, gently, into calm. Our story tonight begins in a stone tower, wrapped in ivy, nestled in the corner of a moonlit garden. The garden is no ordinary blooms, only at night, its blossoms unfurling beneath the stars. Lavender sways softly in the breeze, kissed with dew. Mint grows in cool patches. Near ancient stones, roses spill their petals like sighs along winding paths. The tower stands quiet but alive, breathing softly through its wooden shutters and vine-draped walls, as if it dreams along with the garden. Inside the tower's upper chamber, golden candlelight glows against shelves of bottles, each one filled with some delicate hue mauve, amber, ocean blue. The air smells of flowers and old books, warmed by the hearth that crackles in the corner. Here lives an alchemist, not one who chases gold or stirs wild lightning, but a gentler kind, a keeper of dreams, a weaver of rest. She crafts elixirs not of power, but of peace. Her tonics are whispered into being, stirred with care, and kissed with silence. Tonight, she works slowly, her breath steady, her touch almost reverent. On the table before her lie bundles of herbs, lavender gathered at dusk, peppermint picked at dawn, and rose petals still soft from sleep. She begins with lavender, its purple heads nodding, as if they remember every hand that ever sought comfort in their scent. She crushes the blossoms gently with a mortar carved from driftwood, the soft crackle of petals filling the quiet room. Then the mint, cool and sharp, and finally the rose, bruised under the pestle until it releases a sigh of scent. She stirs the crushed mixture into a copper bowl, adding just a thread of moon water drawn from the garden well at midnight. The scent rises souffle herbal, sweet and grounding. The alchemist hums a tune as she works, something slow and ancient, barely louder than the whisper of her robes brushing the stone floor. Her melody drifts through the air, like smoke from a candle, curling around the shelves and curling into your thoughts. She moves to the still, a coil of crystal and silver that gleams in the candlelight. The herbs are placed gently within, and a quiet flame flickers beneath. Steam begins to curl upward, catching the light as it twists and dances. The glass glows faintly violet, and slowly, drop by drop, a sleeping tonic forms clear, soft, and tinged with the scent of dreams. Each droplet slides down the coil like a falling star. Into the vial it goes, one by one. Collected like secret wishes, the alchemist corks the vial and wraps it in soft cloth, placing it in a wooden drawer already filled with others, like at bottles of calm, jars of hush, sleep held in glass. No labels are needed. She knows each one by heart. This one for the restless mind, that one for the aching soul, another still for the ones who have forgotten how to let go. Outside, the wind brushes against the ivy, and the leaves murmur their own lullabies. An owl calls softly in the distance, then settles into silence. The garden seems to exhale. A hush spreads across the tower, as if even the earth is preparing to dream. Inside, the alchemist continues, now adding valerian root dried over 7 sunsets and blue hyssop soaked in starlight. These she blends with a few drops of honeyed chamomile, their textures mixing like ink in water. As the vial fills again, the air grows warmer. You can almost feel it, a gentle pulse of heat from the copper, the comforting weight of stone all around, and the scent of lavender now thick and soft in your lungs. Her cat, curled by the hearth, flicks an ear in sleep. A mouse peeks from beneath a cupboard, but finds the stillness too soft to disturb. Even time seems to pause in this tower. She places the fresh vial alongside the others and finally closes her eyes, just for a moment. Her hands rest in her lap and her breath slows. Around her, the room glows quietly, wrapped in scents and shadows. She has crafted not just a potion tonight, but a moment, a hush, a place where sleep is invited, not forced or chased, but welcomed gently as an honored guest. And now, as the last drop settles in the vial, you two begin to feel that same hush rising around you. The scent of crushed mint and soft rose, the warmth of flickering light, the deep, steady breath of the alchemist as she dreams beside her fire. Let it all wrap around you now. Let go of the day. Let go of thought. Let the lavender drift through your mind like soft clouds. This is a tower of sleep, and you are welcome here. Morning will not arrive soon in this part of the world. The night stretches long and gentle, like the slow curl of steam above a warm mug. But time here does not follow the rules of the waking world. Inside the tower, it folds itself softly, bending to the rhythm of breath, the beat of a quiet heart, the patience of the alchemist's craft. She is awake, yet not fully in this world. Her movements are slow as honey, her thoughts like ripples in a still pond. She selects her next ingredients with fingers that do not rush. From the upper shelf, she lifts a small pouch of dried lemon balm. Its scent is a quiet smile, a softness behind the eyes. She crumbles a pinch between her fingers, letting it fall into a glazed ceramic bowl beside a sprig of wild chamomile and a single dried violet, pressed flat as a pressed promise. These herbs are for the dreamers who wake too soon, the hearts that flutter before rest has taken hold. They blend into a lullaby of scent and texture. As she grinds, the garden wind slips through a narrow crack in the shutters, cool and delicate. It weaves through the room without stirring a single flame, carrying with it the hush of sleeping blossoms and the breath of distant fields. The alchemist inhales deeply, her eyes closed, her heart sinking with the quiet of all that surrounds her. Her thoughts drift to the plants themselves, how they grow with patience, never demanding to bloom, never questioning their purpose. They grow because they know how to rest. They sleep in their roots and wake only when the earth sighs. Yes, she pours warm spring water over the powdered herbs, watching the color shift from pale to golden to a muted purple hue. It is not yet a potion, not yet an elixir. It is only a moment in between, an infusing, a softening, like twilight before darkness, like drowsiness before sleep. She stirs slowly, then sets the mixture beneath the heart's edge, where it will steep in warmth and silence. In the alcove behind her, the shelves hold more than herbs and bottles. There are books handwritten, bound in soft leather or old twine. Not books of spells, but of seasons, of blooming patterns and moon cycles, of the different ways time whispers near water, or how nettle dreams under snow. These pages do not tell her what to do. They remind her of what she already knows, that healing is a conversation, and sleep, true sleep, is a kind of trust. Tonight, a storm stirs far off in the hills. Its rumble is low, like a thought not yet spoken. The air in the tower thickens slightly, and the alchemist pauses. She listens not with her ears, but with something older, something quieter. She knows which vials must now be prepared. The storm sleepers will feel this change, and some may stir restlessly beneath their quilts, turning, unable to settle. For them, she will prepare a heavier rester one, grounded in root and earth and the memory of stillness. She reaches for ashwagandha, its powder soft and dusty, like forgotten paths, then skullcap, delicate but deep, like the hush that follows tears. These she blends with warm milk, infused with nutmeg, and a single pearl of clove. This scent resides a deeper tone, richer, like nightfall. Pressed into liquid, she tastes it, just a sip, her lips parting with the smallest hum of approval. Yes, this one will hold them like stone holds the mountain silent, strong, unmoving. She pours the mixture into a black violonics glass, with a moon sigil etched into its base. The cork is sealed with beeswax and pressed with a thumbprint, a mark of quiet promise. She places the vial inside a drawer lined with velvet, then gently closes it, as though not to wake the sleep within. Another breath. Another stillness. The fire now burns lower, but its glow is softer, deeper, more golden. The shadows on the walls stretch wide and gentle, and the room feels rounder somehow, as if it has wrapped itself around the alchemist in a loving hush. Her cat, undisturbed, shifts to rest its chin on the edge of a worn cushion. The mouse beneath the table has not moved. The entire tower breathes as one, quiet, warm, wrapped in the veil of peace. The alchemist does not speak aloud. Her work requires no words. She communicates in temperature, in color, in the space between steps. Her wisdom is not shouted, it is steeped, it is lived. And she has lived for many quiet years among these herbs, these glass vials, these shelves that lean with memory. Not one moment of her life has been wasted. Every pause, every stir, every cup left untouched until just the right moment teach has been a part of her slow, sacred recipe. Outside, the clouds begin to drift over the moon, casting a diffused light across the garden. The lavender plants sway slightly, not with wind, but with breath. You feel it too, a shift in your own rhythm, a softening, a melting at the edges. The alchemist feels it as well. She closes her eyes once more and lets the silence expand around her, not empty but full of presence, of tiny sounds. The creak of wood, the sigh of the flames, the faint tink of a glass lid settling. And in that stillness, you find yourself even deeper in rest. The air around you warmer, the shadows kinder, the world quieter. You can smell the lavender now. You can almost hear the alchemist's breath as she moves past your imagination and into your dreaming. There is no rush. She will continue preparing her sleep tonics long after the story fades, long after your breathing deepens and your thoughts begin to trail off like smoke. You are here, in this tower, if only in your mind. But your body believes it. Your breath follows its rhythm. Your thoughts float softer. There is nothing else to do. You may rest now, fully, completely. You may sleep, knowing the alchemist is still stirring her vials in the background of your dreams, tending to the lavender, whispering to the rose, and weaving sleep into glass with hands that have always known how. Somewhere beneath the tower, water flows not loud, not rushing, but steady as a heartbeat. It winds through hidden roots and smooth stone channels carved long before memory. The alchemist hears it, always, not with her ears, but with a calm part of her mind that listens without needing to understand. The flow reminds her that time needn't be chased. It is enough to follow. It is enough to trust the pull. She moves to a chest at the far wall-edged oak, its hinges softened by use. Inside, bundles of herbs are wrapped in silk, labeled not with words, but with threads of different colors. Blue for calming, gold for clarity, gray for sleep. She selects a bundle tied in faded purple, the silk warm from resting near the hearth. Inside, mugwort feathery, not for rest, but for journeying while asleep. This is not a potion for every sleeper. It is only for those who seek more than stillness, those who wish to drift beyond rest and into the echo of stars, to walk among memory and metaphor. For these rare dreamers, she prepares a draft, not in glass, but in clay and old vessel passed from mentor to student for generations. She lines the inside with honey and crushed fig before adding the mugwort steeped in elderflower tea. The scent is unlike the other sticker, richer, woven with mystery. As she stirs, the fire lets out a soft pop. The room darkens slightly, and the wind carries the scent of rain now. The storm has moved closer still, not threatening, but nearer, like a forgotten thought returning. The garden outside stirs in its sleep. Leaves shift, petals pulse faintly. The alchemist knows what this means. Tonight's air will tug gently at the minds of the sensitive. It will murmur to those on the edge of dreaming and pull at the thoughts of those who tried too hard to forget. She pours the mugwort mixture into the clay cup, then carries it to a small window ledge. There, she leaves it uncovered for 1 hour to let the night speak to it, to let the wind press its stories into the surface. Not all magic is made with flame. Some is made with waiting, with allowing, with knowing when to step back and let the sky finish what the hand began. Returning to her table, she prepares her simplest, most beloved tonic, the one she makes each night for herself. A spoon of warm milk, a petal of lavender, a drop of sweet almond, a whisper of nutmeg, stirred clockwise. Then still, she sips it, standing by the fire, her eyes half closed, watching the shadows shift across her floor. This drink is not strong. It does not send her into sleep like a spell. It only reminds her body what rest feels like. She walks the tower once. Slowly, her bare feet make no sound on the stone. She checks the vials cooling on the shelves, adjusts a curtain, tends to a tiny pot of rosemary growing in the window box. These rituals are not tasks. They are part of the spell she lives inside. Each night shaped like a bowl empty at first, then filled with scent, with silence, with the promise of peace. The cat stretches now, arching with slow elegance, before settling into a tighter curl. The mouse has vanished, perhaps into its bed beneath the floorboards. A moth flutters lazily by the candle, its wings the same dusty rose as dried peony petals. Even the insects here move slowly. Sleep is not only for humans, it radiates outward, touching everything. A blessing passed like water, like warmth. The alchemist turns down the flame beneath the still. The glass no longer drips. Its task is done for now. She uncorks a final vial from earlier one she made for herself weeks ago, but saved for the right moment. Tonight feels like that moment. She opens it and breathes in, deeply. The scent is soft as old paper, cool as fog, sweet as crushed It slips through her chest like a lullaby. She drinks. The room begins to dim, not from the lack of light, but from the presence of quiet. The kind of quiet that glows, that hushes, without silencing. She returns to her chair, beside the hearth, and gathers a woolen shawl around her shoulders. The fabric smells faintly of sage and smoke. She pulls it tight, and her eyes flutter closed. Her breath slows, not dramatically, not all at once, but gradually, like leaves settling on water. She does not worry about the vials. They will wait. She does not fear the storm. It will pass gently. She does not count the hours. They are not needed here. What matters now is the space between thoughts, the softness between heartbeats, the knowing that nothing more must be done. You are still here, watching her, feeling her stillness begin to ripple into you. Perhaps you didn't notice it, but your breathing now matches hers. Your eyelids, heavier. Your jaw, softer. That warmth in your chest. It's the echo of her sleep finding you. Her work was never just for herself. It was always for those who drift into her tower, in thought, in need, in longing. And tonight, you found it. This place, this hush, this slow river of peace that wraps itself around your limbs and pulls you gently under, not to drown, but to rest, to forget effort, to remember ease. You are safe. You are seen. And in the scent of lavender, you are held outside. The rain begins not harsh, not loud, but steady and full. It beads on the windows like tiny stars returning to earth. It taps the herbs. It runs in smooth ribbons across stone. The garden sighs. The ivy hums. The night stretches on, wide and warm. And within it, sleep flows like a river. The alchemist sleeps now. And because she sleeps, the tower sleeps. And because the tower sleeps, you may sleep too. Let go. Float here a while. Let your thoughts be herbs in her hands. Crushed not to be destroyed, but to release what they hold. The world can wait. You have already arrived. Sleep settles over the tower like velvet. It drapes across. Every surface folds itself into the mortar between stones, pools gently beneath the wooden beams, and stretches long shadows beneath the alchemist's chair. Nothing stirs, not even the flicker of the candle. It burns low and steady, its light a golden breath. The walls no longer feel like boundaries, but like arms wrapped around a dream, holding everything close, safe, still. And yet, The alchemy never truly stops. Even in rest, something continues. The lavender petals steep quietly in their covered jars, releasing softness into the air. The pressed herbs hanging by the window share whispers with the night wind. The empty vials, cleaned and drying near the hearth, catch the glow of dying embers and seem to pulse with waiting, as if they already know that tomorrow more peace will be poured into them. Far above, clouds drift apart, revealing the slow shimmer of stars. The garden below, dim but watchful, listens for signs of waking, but finds none. Even the frogs near the pond have hushed their song. The only sound now is the hush of the rain, gentle and forgiving, tapping on stone, brushing over leaves, making everything feel like it has been freshly washed in silence. In her sleep, the alchemist dreams. She sees herself as a girl again, her hands small and curious, reaching into the earth to pull up roots with wonder. Her first lesson was not in how to mix, but how to notice. Her teacher's voice returns to her, as soft as the wind through time. Listen to the plants. They already know how to rest. They'll teach you, if you're gentle, even now, years later. That wisdom flows through her work, like a quiet river, unchanged by time. She dreams also of those who've come to her faces, wrapped in fog, voices soft with hope. Some sought sleep, some sought healing, some simply needed a place to sit and be still. She gave them what she could. A sip, a moment, a breath made sacred, and in return, they gave her their trust, folded gently into the space between questions. It was enough. It was always enough. The tower groans faintly as it settles into deeper sleep. Wooden beams shift like old joints cracking in comfort. The candle finally gutters, its flame lowering into a last whisper before vanishing. But the glow does not disappear. The hearth still pulses, and the starlight, now stronger, filters through the shutters in thin silver lines. Shadows of leaves dance on the stone floor, gentle as lullabies. Somewhere in the field beyond the garden wall, a deer walks slowly past. Its hooves press into soft earth without sound. It pauses to breathe the air near the tower, tilts its head slightly, then moves on. Even wild creatures feel the peace that radiates here. Even they are drawn to the stillness of a place made sacred by slowness. And you, too, are drawn closer, closer to the warmth, to the quiet, to the still pulse of sleep that flows from this place. You do not need to try. You do not need to think. The scent of lavender fills your lungs with every breath, and you begin to feel yourself becoming softer, like dried petals returning to bloom and dreams. The alchemist shifts slightly beneath her shawl. Her breathing remains even deep. Her dreams drift like smoke. Even in her slumber, she glows. The magic within her is not something she controls. It is something she is, a slow, quiet kind of magic. One that does not dazzle, but restores. One that does not impress, but understands. And though she does not know it, across a distance of story and imagination, her breath is guiding yours. Her rest is becoming your rest. Her peace blended with rose, mint, and moonlighters, becoming your blanket. You are wrapped in her rhythm now, and there is no need to leave it. A night like this could stretch on forever, not because time has stopped, but because time has become irrelevant. There is no clock within the tower, no urgency, no bells, only the sound of a life lived in tune with sleep and light and scent. Only the breath of a woman who has made rest into ritual and stillness into skill. Her dreams now deepen. They wander into the garden, where lavender grows wild and untrimmed. She walks among the blossoms, barefoot, the dew cool against her toes. She hears the hum of bees, though none fly. She hears her teacher's voice again, not instructing but singing. A song without words, a song meant only for the soul. She kneels beside a patch of mint and runs her fingers through it. The leaves do not bruise. They lean toward her hand. She smiles, not with her mouth, but with her chest, with her ribs, with the quietest part of her. She is not alone in this dream. You are there, too, walking just behind, feeling your own steps become lighter. You breathe in, and the mint soothes your lungs. You breathe out, and the tension you carried dissolves like fog in sunlight. The sky above the garden darkens again, but gently like a velvet curtain being drawn. And as it does, stars grow brighter, closer. They look like seeds scattered across the night, seeds that might take root in your heart and grow there, slowly, into rest, into peace, into the kind of deep, healing sleep that carries you far and returns you whole. The garden begins to fade, not disappear, but soften, like ink spreading in water, like the line between waking and sleeping becoming too faint to see. You feel yourself floating now not in air, but in warmth, in scent, in the slow echo of the alchemist's breath, guiding yours. Let go. Let yourself fully surrender. Now you are safe. You are wrapped in the rhythm of the tower, the breath of the herbs, the heartbeat of the earth. There is nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to do. The night will hold you. The lavender will carry you. The alchemist will keep watch, even in her dreams. And so, the deeper you drift, the slower the world becomes. It doesn't stop, it simply quiets. The tower fades from stone and wood to breath and memory. The walls are no longer boundaries, but soft impressions edges smoothed by time and tenderness. Even the herbs on the shelves begin to glow in your mind. Their colors more vivid now that your body rests and your imagination begins to stir. You can still feel the warmth of the hearth behind your eyelids. Still sense the weight of the shawl pulled close to the alchemist's shoulders. Her breath becomes a tide you float upon, one breath in, one breath out. The rhythm rocks you softly, as though you lie in a cradle made of sleep. There is no need to return. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and the night has made a home for you. Above the tower, the stars gather like gentle witnesses. They have watched the alchemist for years, perhaps centuries, always from afar, always in awe, not of her power, but of her peace, the way she moves with time instead of against it, the way she trusts the stillness, the way her silence says more than the loudest spells ever could. Their light is not distant now. It wraps the tower, wraps you in a silver hush that soothes every thought before it begins. In her dream, she walks past the rosemary bush near the garden gate. It rustles slightly, though no wind stirs. She bends to touch it, and the leaves nudge back in greeting. Their scent, sharp and grounded, fills the air with calm certainty. Rosemary, the herb of memory, of protection. She whispers a word. Do it thank you and continues walking, her bare feet making no mark in the earth. Only warmth. You follow still, your body forgotten, your breath easy. You do not ask questions. You only feel the softness beneath your imagined feet, the scent of crushed petals carried on the breeze, the quiet surety that this dream is not a dream, not entirely. It is a memory she shares with you, or perhaps a gift from her rest to yours. In this place, there are no lines, only circles, only cycles of breath and bloom and letting go. She reaches the center of the garden, now a clearing, where moonflowers glow, wide open to the stars. There, petals pulse faintly, as though listening, as though they, too, are part of her alchemy. And perhaps they are. She sits among them, legs folded beneath her, and tilts her face to the sky. The stars are close now, close enough to feel. They do not speak. They do not need to. Their silence is a lullaby. And then, slowly, the garden around her begins to dissolve, not vanish, but soften into formlessness, the way thoughts do just before sleep takes full hold. Shapes lose their edges. Sounds blur into a hum. You feel it too, the story becoming sensation, the dream becoming breath, everything melting into one long, slow exhale. There is no separation now, between garden and tower, between alchemist and you, between waking and sleep. The rain outside the tower has stopped, leaving beads of silver dew along every leaf. The wind is curled into itself, content. The fire in the hearth has become embers, warm and pulsing, and in the stillness of it all, the alchemist stirs just once, in her chair barely, emotion then returns to her sleep. Deeper now, the kind of sleep that feels like floating in a velvet sky, with no beginning and no end. You float there too, Selden, the hush she made, held in a place where nothing aches, where nothing tugs at you, where every part of your being is gently allowed to unfold. Each breath sinks you deeper into that space between thought and dream. You are safe. You are still, and the world beyond the tower can wait. If thoughts come, they are like feathers drifting past your face. Delicate, meaningless. They do not disturb. They do not linger. The only thing that remains now is this sensation. The slow swirl of lavender in your chest. The warmth of ancient stone beneath your body. The breath of another soul sleeping beside you in the same rhythm. She will wake eventually, when morning hums at the edge of the sky. But not now. Not for some time. And neither will you. The story is not ending, it is only fading into stillness, the way a candle doesn't vanish, but simply transforms its flame into memory. And that memory will live in you now. When you wake, you may still smell the herbs. You may feel the warmth of candlelight beneath your skin. You may find your breath slower, your thoughts softer, your body remembering how to rest. For you have visited the tower, you have breathed in the alchemy, and sleep, true, healing, sacred sleep, has welcomed you as one of its own. So now, there's nothing more to hear, nothing more to imagine, only the quiet, warm descent, the petals closing, the stars dimming. The alchemist still dreaming, and you, beside her, held gently in the hush she made. Let go now. Completely. Fall. Softly. Sleep. Deeply. You are home. Dawn is still far away, hidden behind the curve of the world. The sky holds its breath in deep indigo silence, unwilling to disturb the hush that has settled over the land. And in the tower, the hush deepens, still, growing thicker, warmer woven now, not only from night and rest, but from the presence of your dreams beside hers. You are not a visitor anymore. You are part of the rhythm. You have moved past the gates of thought and entered the garden where silence grows. The alchemist's breath rises and falls, yours rising with it, the two woven together like wind through willow branches. You don't even notice it now how easy it is to breathe. How natural it feels to float. You are no longer drifting toward sleep. You are sleeping fully, freely. Still, the story unfolds beneath you, gentle as a tide beneath a sleeping boat. The tower hums faintly in its bones. The glass vials, cool. The herbs sigh softly in their bundles. Time passes not in minutes, but in petals falling to the floor, in sparks settling into ash, in the distance between two breaths. The storm has long passed, leaving the garden cleaner, its soil darker, its leaves kissed by silver, and somewhere, far beyond the walls, the deer rests in tall grass, untouched by anything but the hush. Within the dream, the alchemist stirs, not from restlessness, but from a new dream blooming within her sleep. A dream of music, though, not the kind made with instruments. This music comes from plants swaying together, from warm water pouring over roots, from the quiet joy of a spoon tapping the edge of a glass vial. It is a music of making, of tending, of crafting, something beautiful with patience, and she smiles in her sleep, the lines at her brow smoothing. In her dream, she is younger not in years, but in feeling. Her hands move more easily, not because they were once faster, but because time seemed even slower then. She sees her teacher Eganol wise. The teacher shows her how to hold basil without bruising it, how to steep fennel seed under a full moon, how to listen to a plant before choosing what it offers. These were never spells. They were rituals, trust exchanged between life and life. The alchemist dreams of her first tonic. It was simple lavender steeped in honey water, left to rest on a windowsill for 3 nights. She gave it to a child who hadn't slept since losing his dog. One sip, and his tears soft. One more, and he fell asleep on her lap, still holding the leash. She never forgot him, never forgot the way healing can look like stillness. The memory passes like mist, replaced by the image of her shelves, now full of years of careful brewing. Each vial a night she helped someone rest. Each drop a moment of quiet, given like a pebble placed gently in a stream, to redirect its flow. She does not dream of gold. She dreams of blue glass, and dried herbs, and firelight on stone. And still, you are there. Not beside her now, but within a dream, or perhaps she within yours. The line has blurred. You see what she sees, feel what she feels. Your breath, still slow, begins to touch something old to your own memory of quiet. Perhaps not from this life, perhaps from a garden you once knew, a breeze you once trusted, a voice that once told you, it is enough now, you may rest. Outside the tower, a single bird calls, then falls silent again. Even it seems unsure whether to wake. The air is thick with the comfort of sleep. The moon leans lower, touching the tops of the tallest trees, and the stars blink more slowly, as if they too are getting drowsy. The garden holds its breath, not intentioned, but in reverence. This is a sacred moment, a night nearing its end. But not yet, not yet. The alchemist shifts again, her shawl slipping from one shoulder. The fire beside her is down to glowing ember-soft orange pulses, beating like the last of a lullaby's note. And you, watching her stillness, feel your own deepen. Your body remembers softness. Your thoughts no longer fight. Everything in you is leaning toward peace, like the herbs once leaned toward her hands. Perhaps this is the true magic. Not in the mixing, not in the flame, but in the space she makes inside her tower, inside herself for stillness. To take root, you are in that space now. You carry it, even as you dream, and when you wake long from now, it will still be there, tucked gently beneath your ribs, like a warm stone, like a vial wrapped in velvet, waiting. The last of the rain evaporates into mist, rising from the garden in tendrils. The leaves sparkle with it. The stones gleam. The lavender, always patient, nods once more in the breeze. A single drop of water falls from a petal, lands on earth, and disappears. That is how dreams end. Here not abruptly, but by becoming part of the soil, the silence. The next night to come, you are not waking yet, but you are resting more deeply than before. A softness has crept in through your skin, into your breath, into your bones. You are heavy with comfort. You are wrapped in dark warmth. You are floating through the scent of rosemary and lavender, through memory and story and sleep. The alchemist breathes, and you breathe with her. The tower holds you both. The stars begin to retreat, very slowly, toward their resting place beyond the dawn. But the night does not leave. It lingers here, inside you. You are not losing it. You are becoming it. Calm, quiet, infinite. Sleep on, dear dreamer. The alchemist watches. Even in her dreaming, you are safe. You are whole. You are home. The sky, though still dark, begins to whisper its promise of light. Not sunrise, no, not yet, but that gentle deepening of the blue when the stars begin to blink slower, one by one, and the world holds a breath before shifting inside the tower. None of this stirs the alchemist. She sleeps in a chair shaped to her body by years of quiet sitting, wrapped in a scent of cooling herbs and the soft exhale of dreams. And you sleep with her, not because the story is ended, but because it has become your breath. The tower is part of you now. The stillness is no longer something you visit, but something that lives inside your chests, beneath your ribs, between your thoughts. Even if your eyes flutter open later, your spirit will still be resting beside the fire, wrapped in a lavender shawl. The room you see in your dreams glows with memory. A kettle once used for rose tonics now holds only warmth. A book on a worn table lies open to a page about the calming effects of violet. A candle, long extinguished, leaves the faintest trail of honeyed smoke curling into the rafters. And above all this, silence, not as absence, but his presence has something full and humming. In the deepest corner of the dream, you return to the shelves, bottles lined up like sleepy sentinels, each holding a story, a moment, a hush. You look closer now. Some contain deep amber liquids, thick and slow-moving like syrup. Others are nearly clear, just barely tinted with rose or gold. Some are dry, powders and crushed leaves, layered like sediment in old riverbeds. All of them whisper, but they do not ask to be opened. They only exist perfectly in their stillness. You sense her presence, even as she sleeps. The alchemist, still dreaming, but aware of you now. Perhaps she always was. Perhaps your arrival was expected. She does not speak. She does not move. But her rest makes space for yours. And in that space, you find your breath again. Deep, steady, soft. And the garden, it listens. The lavender leans just slightly toward the tower wall, as if drawn by the gravity of rest. The mint has folded in upon itself, each leaf clasping another like hands in prayer. The rose bushes near the gate, those silent keepers of memory, have begun to drip dew like glass tears, not from sorrow, but from the fullness of this sleepless night. Beyond the walls, the world turns. Distant villages begin to stir. Faraway birds fluff their feathers. But here, in this tower, time lingers. It does not rush. The fire does not ask for tending. The sky does not yet bloom. It waits. Everything waits for you to be ready. In the dream, the alchemist's teacher appears again, not in words, not in form, but in presence. A feeling in the room, warm, round, steady. The kind of feeling that reminds you are doing enough. That rest, too, is part of the work. That quiet is not an absence, but a gift you give yourself. The alchemist, asleep, smiles faintly. And in the dream, you smile too. She taught this once, long ago. That rest must be brewed as carefully as any potion. That stillness needs tending. That sleep is not something you fall into, but something you prepare for. Invite, steep slowly like chamomile in honeyed water. And now, you know this, too. You feel it in your bones, your blood, your breath. There is no need to speak, no need to move. Let the hush settle deeper now. Let it pool in your palms. Let it soak into your skin. You are not just watching the alchemist sleep. You are resting in her rhythm, floating in her garden, dreaming in her tower. One final vial rests on her tabernaclet, unfinished, not yet labeled. It is not meant for anyone else. It was never for sale or for use. It was meant for tonight, for this hush, for this and though you will never drink from it, you already carry what it holds. You are steeped in it now. Every breath has made it yours. The warmth from the hearth settles lower, like a blanket being gently tucked in. The window no longer lets in night air, just the memory of breeze and the scent of wet leaves. You feel as though your entire body is wrapped in moss and velvet. Safe, cool where you need to be, warm where you want to stay. And as your thoughts slow even further, like petals sinking in syrup, you notice something. The tower isn't just still, it's breathing. With you, with her, with the world. Not in the hurried pant of day, but in the long, slow tide of night. A breath in, peace expands. A breath out, all else releases. There is nothing else to carry. The alchemist stirs again, not because she must wake, but because even in sleep, she continues her work. Her dreams move through the world like drifting pollen settling gently onto the hearts of those who need rest most. Perhaps someone far from here will sigh tonight and not know why. Perhaps they, too, have caught a thread of this hush, carried to them through your sleep, through hers. You rest not only for yourself. You are part of the hush now. You are one of the sleepers who ripple peace outward. And this peace, slow and real, begins to settle into your bones like warmth from coals. You will carry it long after this story fades. So let it all melt. Now, let the herbs in your mind fall back to the soil. Let the tower drift into fog. Let the last curl of steam rise from the vials and vanish. Let the alchemist sleep on and let yourself dissolve, like lavender in oil, like moonlight on a pond, like silence after song. You are nearly gone now, not lost but finally free of weight. You are not thinking, you are not doing. You are only being, and in this being, you are whole. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Sleep without needing to wait. Sleep as if the world has nothing more to ask of you, 'cause it doesn't. Not here, not now, not tonight. Somewhere in your drifting, you notice that even your breath has forgotten. It is a task. It now moves on its own, a tide with no shore to crash against, no urgency to return. You do not hold it. You do not force it. It simply flows quiet, invisible, perfect. You are held in its rhythm like a leaf on a sleeping river. The tower is not a place anymore. It is a sensation. The scent of wet lavender, the warmth of stoned after dark, the weight of a woolen shawl draped over your shoulders by hands that ask nothing in return. The hush is everywhere, now inside your bones, beneath your skin, curled into your thoughts like roots seeking soil. Nothing presses against your mind. No voice asks you to wake. No memory tugs at your sleeve. Even your name seems far away now. Not lost, but softened. Like a page turned over gently in a book you're no longer reading. Here, there are no names. Only presence. Only peace. In the deepest part of the tower, the place where even the moonlight does not reach, the dried herbs rest in shadow. Lavender, rose, mugwort, lemon balm, valerian, their roots dug long ago into earth, now suspended in sleep. And yet, even in sleep, they offer something. Not scent, not potion, but memory. Of gardens tended with patience, of hands that never rushed, of nights just like this one. And now, Lee, this night belongs to you. You feel yourself sink lower into the bed of the dream, the cushion beneath your breath, the quiet that asks nothing of you. There is no edge, no boundary, no need to think where you end, and the hush begins. The two are one now. Your thoughts are no longer yours. Alone they are, the breath of rosemary, the sigh of the garden, the echo of her footsteps in sleep. And just beyond the stillness, you hear something, a new sound, so soft, it doesn't startle, doesn't demand. A breeze rustling dried petals, the tap of dew sliding down a petal, the long hush of wool brushing against wool. These are the lullabies of the tower. Not sung, not composed, simply lived, felt, honored. Even the stars, which once watched from above, now seem to dim out of reverence. They do not shine now to be seen, but to warm, to hold, to glow faintly behind closed eyes. The sky is the softest black you've ever known. Not empty, not blank, just full of velvet sleep. And through all of it, the alchemist still dreams. She dreams not of wonders, or potions, or ancient secrets. She dreams of silence, of the way her teacher once held her hand while she wept, of the exact smell of crushed mint at dawn, of the way warm tea feels in the hands of someone who has been cold too long. She dreams of giving, of being, of peace held in a cup, and the way a breath can change your life. You feel it now, her dream inside your dream, or perhaps your dream within hers. You walk through a garden and sleep, barefoot but unafraid. The path is soft, the air is balm. You reach for a flower and it leans toward you, not because you asked, but because it trusts you. Because everything here is built on trust. And as your dream self kneels beside the lavender bush, you find something hidden at its base. A tiny bottle, no larger than your thumb, stoppered with wax and sealed with a curl of white twine. No label, no name. But when you hold it, you know it is for you. Not to drink, not to open, just to carry, just to remember. Within that bottle is tonight, the hush, the breath, the garden, the alchemist's smile, barely there in sleep, the crackle of the fire, the sigh of the earth, all of it contained in one perfect drop, meant only for your heart to know. And so, even as this dream begins to melt into deeper rest, you hold it close, not in your hands, but within, in the slow pulse, behind your ribs, in the softness of your eyes, in the stillness that lingers, even when the world around you begins, slowly, to return. But not yet. The dream does not release you yet. The tower still hums. The herbs still breathe. The hush still holds. The alchemist remains in her chair, head tilted gently, her face relaxed in that way. Only the truly restful know she does not need to wait. She has already done enough. Her gift has already passed through the air, the herbs, the breath, into you. And you, dear dreamer, have done enough too. There is no more story now. No more to see or understand. Only this. Only sleep. Only the hush she made. And you, breathing within it. Still. Safe. Loved. The first hints of morning begin to weave their way through the darkness, not bright or sharp, but gentle, like the whisper of a feather brushing your cheek. The tower remains wrapped in quiet, as if holding its breath, reluctant to break the spell of sleep. The air is cool, touched with the faintest scent of dew, and earth waking slowly beneath the stars' retreat. Within this soft dawn, the alchemist stirs a little, stretching her fingers, as if waking from a dream layered with other dreams. Her shawl slips slightly, revealing the curve of her shoulder bathed in moonlight still lingering through the window. Her breath is deep and steady, carrying the calm of the night within it. And you, still wrapped in that same calm, feel yourself tethered to her rhythm. Each inhale a gentle pull, each exhale a soft release. The dream space you've shared is folding now, folding inward like the petals of a closing flower. You are not yet ready to leave this place, this hush, this stillness, and so you linger, wrapped in the alchemist's peace, carried by the fading scent of lavender and honey. Outside, the garden breathes with the first pulse of light. Leaves shimmer with dewdrops like tiny stars caught in their grasp. The petals of rose and mint curl gently, welcoming the slow turn of day. Even the stones in the garden path seem warmer now, soft by the night's memory and the promise of the sun to come. Inside the tower, the fire in the hearth is now but a gentle glow, embers whispering a final farewell to the night's chill. The vials stand silently on their shelves, guardians of dreams and quiet moments. Each one holds a trace of the night's magic, distilled and waiting for another dusk to come alive again. The alchemist opens her eyes slowly, not with urgency, but with the deliberate grace of someone who has truly rested. Her gaze drifts around the room, lingering on familiar things: the worn wood of the table, the gleam of glass in the candlelight, the soft folds of her shawl. She breathes in deeply, savoring the lingering scent of her own potions, and exhales softly, as if releasing a secret only she can hear. And though the story you came to listen to is drawing near its end, the peace it carries does not fade. It settles into you like the final notes of a lullaby, ringing softly long after the music stops. The rest you found here will follow you back into waking light, a hidden thread sewn quietly through the fabric of your day. You feel yourself beginning to stir, not abruptly, but gently, as if waking from the deepest dream. Your body is heavy, soft, and calm. Your mind is clear, still cradled in the quiet space between sleep and waking. You carry with you the alchemist's garden, the hush of lavender, the softness of night, the slow turning of breath and time. Take this moment to thank yourself for this gift of rest, for allowing the story to carry you, for trusting the silence. Know that this piece is yours to return to whenever you need it. It lives not only in the tower, but in your breath, your heart, your bones. And now, as the day begins to unfold, you can open your eyes slowly, carrying the softness within you, ready to move gently back into the world. Rested, calm, whole. Sleep well, dear listener. You are held. You are safe. You are home. Good night.